Buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Danilo's presentation. As usual, please say your name, the name of your journal, and just ask one question at a time for the translation to be made correctly. Thank you. Good morning, Danilo, and welcome. My name is Fabrizio Ferrero from Mediaset. I'd like to know about your first impressions, because you already had your first match with Danilo, and you've already had some training. So what are your first impressions after the first days here? Oh, good afternoon. Unfortunately, I don't know any Italian yet.
Tanto a cidade, desde o momento em que eu pisei aqui, quanto os jogadores do elenco, tanto os trabalhadores do clube. Foi recebimento muito amoroso, muito afetivo, e já me fez me sentir muito à vontade desde os primeiros dias, e eu espero que eu possa seguir com essas sensações para poder fazer bem meu trabalho dentro de campo.
I'd like to give the best of me. So how important is the presence of your friend Alexandro to find him again here? Well, during the process, I've spoke with Alexandro many times, and that was crucial for me because he gave me very essential information, crucial about how they work on a daily basis. So it was very important, just even on a personal sphere. So we've been friends for more than 10 years now. So we've been very, very close friends. And so you can imagine how important it was for me to have a friend's advice in my decision to come here. And I'm sure that he will be more and more important. I'm Giacomo Vicelli from Sky Sports. So these were your first impressions about the team. What about Sarri? Because he may have some common traits with Guardiola, but even differences. So what about his defensive minds? What are your impressions about that? Well, he has got a very, very peculiar style. So he liked to have this attack mind. We saw that with Chelsea in England, and I also played against Napoli, and when he was a coach, and I like his style because I'm rather familiar with that style. I don't think I have many difficulties in adjusting my game. I know that in Italy, defense takes the lion's share in Italy, but although I am 28, I'm really totally with him. So you told about the importance of Alexandro, and you even find Cristiano Ronaldo here back because you were together in Real Madrid. Did you speak to him, and what did he say? Well, I spoke to him before coming here, and we had some jokes, actually. We had some talks, too. And I said I wanted number 7, but unfortunately I couldn't because it was already taken. But apart from jokes, he was very important too for my choice. And he told me that the club is amazing. And he just welcomed me with a smile, and I really felt home. Of course, knowing to work and play with such a top player like Cristiano is really a booster for me. Well, in the past, your name was associated to Juventus many times. So did you have an idea to come here even in the past? Well, that's true, but I think that if it happened now, it's because it should have happened now. So there were different reasons why we couldn't close an agreement before, and I'm sure this is the right moment to be here at the right place with the right club. So I'm going to do anything I can to just feel myself at home. So welcome, Danilo, and I'm going to ask you a question in Portuguese. So Juventus has never had so many Brazilian players, but now Juventus has got a left and right backs who are Brazilian. So may this be the beginning of a Brazilian tradition? And do you think it could help for Champions League? Well, maybe that's high time we started having some Brazilian players. Of course, with all due respect to all the other nationalities, I think that Brazilian players may give something to all the different competitions we will have. I hope that with Douglas and Alex, Juventus may become more Brazilian and to lead to victory together. Well, have you told about with Dani Alves after his experience here? So do you get inspiration from him? And is it important for you that he was here before you? Well, not only me, but all right backs should be inspired by Dani Alves for the great player he is and for all the trophies he lifted in his career and for his attitude to the match. So he's a great professional, highly skilled. And his approach to challenges is very peculiar. And that's something nice. So Alves was here and we played against him in the final game of Champions League. And of course, I get inspiration from him because he's a great motivator. Gianluca Nini from La Stampa. Welcome. So we saw you very well at Porto, and then you were bought by Real Madrid. Then you had some difficulties. Lately, you haven't played in Manchester City. So is it an occasion for you to start all over again? And how? Well, I think that you should grow up and develop step by step. Of course, Porto was really important, and Real Madrid too, and Manchester City too, apart from the fact that I couldn't play as much as I would have wanted to. It was a very training experience, and I won many trophies, and that's the right moment to come here because the last 4 years were fundamentals for me just to acquire a winning mindset, and that was anyway a positive experience apart from some difficulties I had. Good morning, Fabiana Della Valle, Gazzetta dello Sport. 2 questions. Is it any particular reasons why you chose your number? Well, there were not so many numbers left, as a matter of fact. So 13 has got a story behind it. Between me, my friends, and my agents, I do believe in numerology, and in number 13, in particular, even the tarots, number 13 is death, but also the opposite. So the renewal, rebirth, something new and openness to the future. So that's why I think it is a special number for me, and undoubtedly, I'm very happy to have it on my shirt. Second question, have you already talked to Sorry, and has he told you about his expectations from you? Well, yes, I talked to him when I came here first and then during the trainings. So, of course, the first days are all very, very inspiring and enthusiastic. But what he asked me is nothing special, nothing different from what the other backs do. So I need to be very attentive during defense. Of course, not to leave open spaces and just express all my potential. That's what he told me and he asked me to do. So nothing different from what he says to the others. Good morning, Guido Vacciaro, Tutto Sport. So you mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo and what he said about Juventus. Can you give us some more insights about that? Do you know what's Cristiano's thoughts of Juventus after 1 year here in Turin? Well, he sounded very motivated and satisfied. So this is the first step for big victories and wins. So it was very rewarding for me to hear him like this. So he compared the club to a family, and so he said that all the mates and the staff are like family members, and that's really reassuring because that's my style too. So I think that's the most important aspects he mentioned. Well, I'd like to talk to you about Seleção, Brazilian Seleção. Do you think that playing for Juventus will boost up your opportunities with your national team? Well, Seleção will always be my goal as far as I can play because it's an occasion to represent my country. Of course, it depends on the work with the club. I was outside from America Cup because I couldn't play much in the last months, and Tito made the right choice, in my opinion. So I'm not entitled, in my opinion, to make comments about that. So what I can say is that I am going to train and commit myself to play at the highest level at the best of my possibilities, and if I can do that, I'm sure that I can be part of the Seleção for the next World Championship. Anyway, I have more short-term objectives, so playing for the team, adjusting to their needs, and then, of course, if I'm called for the Seleção, I'll be very, very happy. So, Claudio Giuliani from Juventus TV. So, you are a very, very strong back, and you are very good in contrasts. But then, is there anything you would like to improve of your potential here in Italy? Well, Italian football has got these theatres of tactic. So we need to give 100% of our potential at every match. So I think that the manager will help me improve my potential, but I'm sure I can also help my mates. So, of course, if you don't make any mistakes, you have higher chances to win. So, you already won Champions League title twice, so you know how important this title is for Juventus. But have you already discussed it? You know that's one of the main objectives for the upcoming season. Well, actually, we haven't spoken about that with my mates. I know what Champions League title means for a player, and so it gives you a special thrill, of course. So if I can say something on my side, we need to deal with every match and every competition very seriously. So all winning clubs do that. So you really need to be concentrated at the top level and committed at the top level. That's how we can do very good. Dario Morricone from RAI. Welcome. So what was your impression of the city? So you were trying to settle down, but what are your first ideas of the city? Well, I haven't had any occasion to see it. So on Sunday, that was my first free day, and I had a walk. But for the rest, I had to fly to London. So it was very hot, and that was good because, you know, Brazilian players are fond of hot weathers. So I think it's a city where people are very nice, very welcoming, and that's really something in line with my origins and my style. I don't think my family and me will have any different difficulties in settling down. We can be happy here. So, what about the differences between Sarri and Guardiola, even if you have just started to work with him? So what are the most striking differences between them? Well, I was already asked these questions and comparisons about the managers, but I don't really like to make comparisons because each manager has got his own peculiarities. I think that Sarri and Guardiola may be rather similar. They have similar game style. They have similar ways to approach the matches. So they have an attack mind. That's good for me because it's in line with what I think about playing football. But I think that you need to work very well on the field, but you also need to deal with the people you have in front of you, with the player. And I saw him hugging the players, and I see a nice way to express his ideas. And I think that's very, very nice and important. All right. If you have no more questions, we're done. Thank you very much.
Estava de ritual com a